Hello there. Happy Monday. I have decided to do something new and fun and different, and that is recording this little weekly video newsletter. So instead of just sending out my Monday newsletter with updates for the podcast releases, I also wanted to try this. That way I can tell you what's going on, what's up. And so my intention for this is just short videos. I'm going to try to do it weekly, consistently, and just tell you what I'm up to, what I'm thinking about, what I'm pondering, and kind of just have it be like a little bonus mini, super casual, super chill podcast episode for my email list people only, very exclusive. Yeah, I'm not gonna edit this. I'm coming at you in my sure I'm not gonna look cute. I'm not gonna be polished. I'm just gonna tell you what's up. Hello. Welcome to my world. Um, Something that I've been thinking about recently is capacity. And I've had this realization for myself recently, especially getting through the holiday season, which felt like the holiday season felt really hard, taking time off from work and also being very busy with hosting and cooking. And even after the holidays, once I got back into work mode, I was feeling better. And then I went away for a week, like a long weekend family trip. And then I felt all kinds of messed up again. And then came back home and had to reset. And that week getting back into work mode was really hard and challenging. And so what I'm starting to realize is that I think I just genuinely feel better when I'm working, which is pretty crazy because, there's this thought that, time off is so good and we all want more time off and we all want to relax and we all want to do less. And I do want that. But I noticed that when I'm taking time off, like when I took the week of Christmas off, by the end of the week, it was feeling really funky for me to just have that much time off. And then when it came to work, I was like, oh, I don't want to go back. I don't feel motivated. I didn't necessarily feel 100% rested and restored and excited to go back, although part of me was excited to go back. Versus when I'm just in the flow of life, even when it's busy, I have certain routines around it. I have my meal prepping routines. I go on my morning walk. I have my morning routines. I have my work routines. I have my evening chill routines. And it's just so much easier for my mindset and my emotions and my energy to be maintained when I'm active in my work and in my job. Now, granted, I love what I do. It's not always fun. There's a lot of things that I do that are mundane and tech and blah, blah, blah. But sometimes I work long hours. But for example, last week, I had some crazy meetings and I'm in a later night training for one day too. So I started early that day. So this was rare. This doesn't usually happen to me, but I was in meetings basically from 8:30 in the morning to 7:30 at night. And it was hard for me to do that and just have such a busy week. But there was another part of me where I was on fire. I felt so activated and charged up. And it's this part of me that when the pressure is on, when the hustle is on, when the busy is on, yes, it can be hard and challenging. And if I'm not careful, I can get overwhelmed and hit a burnout wall. But before that, there's a part of me that's crushing and is I've got this. I'm on fire. I'm awesome. So all of this to say, I think that it's what I've been thinking about is that it's okay for me to acknowledge that I actually enjoy working and I actually enjoy being in active work mode and doing mode. And, I'm not surprised because I'm a former workaholic, but I think that I just adopted this belief that time off is the best thing in the world. And of course I want more of it when the reality is I enjoy being productive and working. And so let me remove that layer of expectation and maybe even judgment that I put on myself for having a hard time when I take too much time. and for it creating a funk. Now, all of that being said, like I want to give myself grace for enjoying working, and I also know that this is an opportunity to practice taking time off because I am used to being in work mode, because I'm a former workaholic. That is also my comfort zone. So no wonder it's actually harder for me to take time off. And if I have too much time off, then I get in a funky place because it's uncomfortable for me. And like all this gunk comes up from under the surface that I'm not really aware of when I'm just going with the flow and in my routines. So that everything that I just said, I'm going to give myself grace and be like, you know what? I just enjoy working. I feel better when I'm working. I feel good when I'm active. I'm just sitting around doing nothing. I know I feel like crap. If I watch too much TV, if I do too much like lounging, I just feel it really messes with my mindset and my whole vibe. So I can recognize that and be like, you know what? This is just who I am. I'm someone who's a goer, who's a doer. And if you're into human design, I'm a generator too. I am not like super knowledgeable when it comes to human design, but what I notice, like what I know about generators is that they can access infinite energy. And also I see that when there's that much bit of pressure, that much bit of extra that I have to do, and I'm kind of nose to the grindstone going, it charges me up, it energizes me. And you'd think that when I'm super busy, I would be really tired and exhausted, but what happens is it fuels me. So I go to bed at night and I'm like wide awake and my brain is wired because there's so many like projects and things that I'm excited to work on. So I'm like, oh yeah, this is my generator. My inner generator is being activated and fired up. So let me honor my generator and be like, this is just who I am. And let me continue to practice the skill set of getting comfortable with chilling and resting. And that I think is a practice. But then also I notice I'm like expanding my capacity in other ways when I feel like so many little things have been happening in my life, like annoying things. So yesterday, Sunday, I like came upstairs just for a minute. I had been working on something all day, like helping my mother redo her office and like redecorate her bookcases. I spent like hours on that. I was like, oh, fine. And then I was meal prepping for the weekend because that's what I do on Sundays. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go like in the sauna and chill. I come upstairs and I go to close the blinds in my window and I literally ripped the blinds off the window. I didn't do anything like forcibly or hard. It just like broke, like over time things break. And it feels like there's been a lot of that happening, like one after the other, where it's like, what the heck? Like little things are happening. And it's so annoying. And I noticed myself, instead of feeling overwhelmed and freaked out, I'm just like, okay, let me keep going and do one thing at a time and also do it now in the moment. Instead of putting small things off and being like, I'll do it later. How can I keep momentum going throughout my day, throughout my life to sweep up the dirt that's all over my office floor? Because when I ripped down the blinds, I knocked over 3 plants. Like, let me do that. And then let me like fill the soap in the sink. And while I'm at it, let me clean the sink. And, it's just building momentum of those small things that I don't have time for and I don't want to do. And typically I would put off. And it's telling myself, I got this. It's going to just be quicker if I do it now than if I put things off and then do it all later when it piles up. It's kind of like my simplest version of this is I love putting my dishes straight into the dishwasher so that they don't pile up in the sink. And then I have to wash all the dishes in the sink. Like that's actually so much harder than me taking like 2 seconds to just put it in the dishwasher. And then the same for that is I notice that the bottleneck of that process is when the dishwasher is clean and needs to be emptied. So typically if I'm busy, it's like a busy work day and I'm like, okay, I need to go get to a meeting, I would just leave the clean dishes in the dishwasher. But now I'm telling myself, okay, what if I can just do it now really quick? Even though I don't have time, if I do this now, it's going to prevent dirty dishes from going in the sink and piling up and then like it becoming a whole thing. So it's like I'm pushing myself to do things in the present moment, and I'm telling myself that I'm capable and that I have the capacity. And that's also being validated by the fact that when I'm in the zone, when I am doing these things, it actually feels really good. It feels really good to feel like I am accomplishing things, to feel like I'm in momentum. So anyway, that's what I've been thinking about. That's what I've been pondering. And you can check out this week's podcast episode down below. I have all those details in the newsletter. And this, I'm separating my email into 2 chunks. So this is the new newsletter. I'm doing some changes. Like you get the weekly newsletter every Monday. Everybody gets that. That's the one email that you get. And then if you want updates about the Empowered Abundance Program and weekly abundance, wisdom, magic emails sent to you as well, you can join the Empowered Abundance waitlist. That's going to be its own separate section. So if you're on this newsletter, you're just going to get the weekly emails where I'm going to test out these video newsletters. Plus, you'll get the podcasts in the newsletter as well, too. And then if you want empowered abundance style content and weekly abundance wisdom, updates about the next enrollment for the Empowered Abundance Program, you can join the Empowered Abundance waitlist. And I have all those details for that down below. Feel free to reply to this email and tell me what your thoughts are on capacity and anything that you want me to talk about or any questions you have for me. This is totally new, this style. So I'm interested to see what happens. And I always love a back and forth conversation. So feel free to interact with me and I will interact with you. Have a great rest of your Money Monday, and I'll see you next week.